So today I'm going to be arrested for social media posts criticizing Israel, and specifically criticizing a genocidaire, Dalia Kurtz, who wants to see more Palestinian blood spilled. And after I publicized the fact that I was being charged for social media posts criticizing Israel, the police have responded by saying I'm harassing the police. So initially I'm supposedly harassing a genocidaire for social media posts criticizing Israel, and then when I write about the fact that I'm being charged for criticizing Israel, the police are now saying they feel harassed, and a police investigator has actually brought in 4 different charges of harassment, intimidation, entrave, I guess interference, against me on the grounds that I wrote about the fact that I was being charged for social media posts criticizing Israel. And this is, I think, a pretty flagrant abuse of the state authority on behalf of those promoting Israel's crimes. This is obviously an attack against freedom of expression, but really what it is a use of the policing and legal system to target someone that opposes the Canadian government's complicity in a genocidal rampage by Israel that's left at least 100,000 people dead, killed in Gaza, destroyed most buildings, destroyed most agricultural land. Even if Israel should stop tomorrow, people will be dying for years and years because of all the unexploded ordnance, because of all the chemical pollutants, the asbestos, all the other things that they've released into the toxic environment that is Gaza. And of course we know that the Israeli government is actually trying to restart its ethnic cleansing and genocide campaign. So it's an absolute outrage that the Montreal police would put the powers of the state at the service of those who are doing everything they can to enable Israel to kill more and more and more Palestinians. So today, from what I understand, I'm going to go in there. They're going to try to put some conditions. They haven't made it clear what the conditions are. Initially, the initial condition was that I don't talk about the case. I don't talk about the fact that I'm being charged with social media posts criticizing Israel. We'll see if they try to continue with that. We actually have a legal judgment, very clearly a legal judgment saying that's absolutely unconstitutional. Whether the police continue with that, I don't know at this point. The police officer yesterday told me they would detain me until I see a judge. He said it would be overnight. I've heard conflicting things about it. It might be 6 hours. It might be till tomorrow morning. Obviously, any minute of time that myself, all of you that are here to come down, thanks a lot for coming down. All this time is sucking resources away from the work we have to do to stop the Canadian government from enabling Israel's crime. And this is what the Canadian government and Zionist forces across the country have been doing. They've been using the police system, they're using the legal system to basically suck up the resources of a grassroots popular uprising against the Canadian government's complicity in Israel's Holocaust. So it's a real shame on the Montreal police to have joined in this. I don't believe any of these charges will. I believe that the Crown will ultimately just drop the charges, and it certainly, if it came before a judge, the judge didn't drop it. It's a joke. I'm a father of a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old. I've written 13 books. I'm not a threat to Dalia Kurtz. I've never met Dalia Kurtz. I've never talked to Dalia Kurtz. I've never messaged Dalia Kurtz. The police officer told me Dalia Kurtz lives in Toronto. I mean, it's a comedy. But this is what the police investigators have decided to move forward with. And I think the context of them moving forward with it is this onslaught of Zionist groups claiming that, you know, Jewish Canadians are under threat. It's a danger. The mob, the pro-Palestinian mob, the deport them all, like Dalia Kurtz goes on and on. This anti-Palestinian racism, this Islamophobia that is being pushed all over. This is the context of which the Montreal police investigator responds
by following through on Dalia Kurtz. And I should also say that Dalia Kurtz, as the investigator told me initially, the initial investigator, that it's a legal firm. So she didn't bring this charge forward herself. It was a legal firm. Apparently, it's the law firm of Neil Oberman, who's been launching injunctions against Palestine groups for months now, many against McGill. The encampment at McGill is the most well-known one. And so it's him that prepared this case. It goes back like 5 months, according to the police investigator. I don't know why they decided to move 2 days ago on this, but it's a coordinated attack. So it's a threat to freedom of expression, and most importantly, it's a threat to those who don't want our government to enable, to support, to assist, to finance, to arm Israel's genocidal onslaught against Palestinians in Gaza and West Bank and more generally. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Do you have any comment on, like, in the last couple of decades, how has the Canadian media and political landscape changed around freedom of
Child killer!
Palestine?
Child killer!
I think that the landscape's changed in that grassroots upswell of consciousness and opposition to Israel's apartheid and genocide has grown remarkably. In the last 16 months, this is the biggest popular uprising against Canadian foreign policy in the history of Canada. Really. We've seen protests in Montréal for every weekend for 16 months. So at the popular level, there's a huge upsurge in consciousness and activity. At the media level, I mean, they're completely complicit. They're completely complicit. At the extreme end, the National Post, these people are just basically people that should be brought before some sort of tribunal for their complicity in Israeli crimes. But in general, the media landscape is decidedly anti-Palestinian. The police, you see, the reality is the Montreal police have been less bad than the Toronto police, Vancouver police in terms of attacking Palestine solidarity. In Toronto, there's a whole unit that's got millions and millions of dollars framed under hate crimes that's basically just been harassing Palestine solidarity. We saw this story a few months ago last week where a police officer punched and broke the nose of a Palestine solidarity person this summer, and the SIU, the investigating unit, decided it's not even it doesn't even contravene the appropriate use of force by the police. So obviously the Indigo 11, where people will put up posters on an Indigo bookstore, they get their houses raided at 6 in the morning and knocking down doors and taking all their stuff. I mean, that's a totally extreme abuse of police authority. We've seen what happened to Charlotte Cates in Vancouver, repeated, police raiding her home. Obviously the whole terrorist listing that happened this time of year, which is another outrage and probably the most extreme example of the state using its authority to target those opposing its complicity in this crime. So we've seen a media sphere that is anti-Palestinian, that is not describing the horrors of what is happening in Gaza, is not even covering properly covering the International Court of Justice and the ICC and all the official Amnesty and all the official groups that have found that Israel's committing genocide. But that flip side to that is, again, this is what we've seen in terms of protesting and grassroots activism is unique in Canadian history, and we just need to keep going and keep ramping up. The public opinion is much more sympathetic to our position than what you see in the dominant media. The dominant media, it makes it seem like the Israelis are the victims, and those opposing Israel crimes are criminals or whatever. But the reality is polling has shown that the public opinion is very sympathetic to. It certainly doesn't like what's happening in Gaza.
Yves, did you bring a lawyer with you today?
I didn't bring a lawyer. My lawyer's been in communication, sent a letter to the Crown around the conditions, that I'm willing to accept conditions that say that I don't have anything to do with Dalia Kurtz and don't have anything to do with this police officer who
I don't know. I don't know Dalia Kurtz either, for that matter. But so I'm willing to accept conditions that say that. I'm not willing to accept any condition that says I can't talk about this case. I'm not willing to accept any condition that says I have to keep the peace, or any sort of thing that's just going to be then potentially used by the police to then target me for other criminalization. So we'll see there's a lot of discretion to the police. The police are saying they got to bring it before a judge because they want the judge to decide the conditions. So we'll see how that all plays out. But no, I have a lawyer on standby, but he actually has a court case today.
How did they explain the second round of charges?
I got a call at noon yesterday from a different enquêteur. The first enquêteur that called me 10 a.m. on Tuesday. He's the one who told me the story down there. And my initial reaction was like hard to the case. This is the farce or whatever. So initial reaction to that. And so then I called the enquêteur and said I couldn't make it at 10:30. It was supposed to be yesterday. That we had to flexibility on exactly when I'd come in. And then so I called to say I couldn't make it at 10:30, wanted to reschedule, and then my lawyer John Philpott called, and she didn't want to talk at all. And so basically, she was really angry that she got more than 2,500 emails saying to drop the charges and to not try these absurd conditions that I can't talk about the case. And then I get a call from this other enquêteur basically saying that he's now in charge of the case. This other person's claiming that they feel threatened by the fact that I wrote an article about what she told me, what the charges against me, and that she felt threatened because there was lots of emails coming into her police inbox. I don't know, didn't even know her first name. So he says that now I'm being charged with harassment, intimidating harassment, entrave, and there's a fourth charge that is all vis-a-vis this police officer, which I had about a 15-minute conversation with, that I don't know her first name, that called me, that it's like the idea that they try to bring. And apparently this is a standard procedure. I've got an email from a lawyer who's representing a bunch of activists who's saying this is standard effort, Crown and police effort to bring in this condition if you can't talk about the case. And so this other lawyer sent me an email yesterday giving me the case law showing that this has been thrown out, this is unconstitutional, but apparently they keep trying to push this. And so, why do they push it? Why do they want me not to be able to talk about the fact that they're charging me for social media posts about criticizing Israel? I think the reason they don't want me to talk about it is that it's embarrassing to the police. It's embarrassing to Dalia Kurtz. It's embarrassing to the legal firm of Neil Oberman, the conservative candidate, who is apparently the one who launched the case on behalf of Kurtz. But we have freedom of expression. Our courts are public arenas. This is well established stuff. But it's easy for the police, right? People they go in there. They don't they're detained. They'll sign any condition, right? I just want to get out. I don't want to spend the next 24 hours here. I don't want to go before judge. I'm scared. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm whatever. And so people sign conditions, and that's wrong. And it's obviously an abuse of police and state authority to bring in those types of conditions. But yeah, so this enquêteur, Puccino, I think it's his name, who I'm supposed to meet here in a bit. He just called and said that he didn't even laugh. He acted like it was serious, that I was actually a threat to this police officer because I wrote about the fact that I was being charged for criticizing Israel on social media. Just one little thing on this, to make this thing also bizarre with this Dalia Kurtz stuff, is that 6 months ago, she announces that she said she makes this post, declaration. She quote tweets me on X saying she doesn't want me to interact with her anymore. Don't post to me, I feel threatened, or some variation of that. And she's stopped now. I'm presuming at that point this was a language that she was given by her legal counsel. But she never blocks me. Okay? So there's a mechanism on X, on Twitter, if you don't want somebody who to post on your stuff, you can just block them. I don't follow Dalia Kurtz. She appears in my feed, and when she says outrageously anti-Palestinian things, I respond. That's what X is about.
What do you make of the fact that she's trying to raise money by sort of portraying herself as a victim online and asking explicitly for donations because she is supposed to be threatened?
Yeah, I mean, that would speak to motive. I received an email from a different lawyer who said he wants to look into how we can pursue her. And I think that the fact that she's like trying to monetize or fundraise off her being the victim kind of thing would maybe strengthen that case. What happens here is all one-sided, right? These well-organized, well-financed pro-genocide forces that have legal and whatever resources to pursue activists, to pressure the police system, to target those criticizing Israel. And our side is we're grassroots. We don't have big funders or prominent legal firms that are doing this either pro bono or maybe because they're being paid. I don't know. So yeah, we need to obviously counter that and go on the offensive, because you've got a picture. Israel is slaughtering. Even when there's a ceasefire agreement, they're not even following the most minimal of the conditions about letting tents in. God's sake, people sleeping in tents in the wintertime. I mean, it's just totally outrageous. I mean, the reality is, if we had a minimally functioning political system, the police would be investigating all these former Israeli soldiers, these Canadians who fought in Gaza. When they come back, they'd be investigating for our. We have laws on the books about war crimes, right? Those have been pursued. The police should be investigating Canadians fighting in Gaza, committing war crimes. If you live in a minimally functioning system, the police would be, investigating whether the Canadian government's defying the arms trade treaty and our own domestic laws in allowing weapons to be sent to Israel. They'd be investigating that. They'd be investigating all these registered charities that are violating CRA rules in supporting the Israeli military, in supporting West Bank settlement organizations, in supporting racist organizations in Israel. That's what we have in a minimally just world. Instead, we have the SPVM putting their services at the service of those promoting the horrors and the crimes of the Israeli state.
Do you have any plans to bring a civil suit against either the cops or Dalia Kurtz or anyone else involved in this?
That has been brought up. That has to be something to look into. The first phase, of course, is to get this all out of the way and then go there. And like I said, a lawyer did contact me. Said he wants to look into how to pursue Dalia Kurtz for her frivolous or her harassment. I mean, this is harassment. She's going to using me harassment, but it's her harassing me. I don't know enough about the law to know whether that's a realistic scenario or whatnot, but I certainly want to go on the offensive because this is all again at the service of a Holocaust and hate those who stand to be supporting these crimes by the Israeli state against Palestinians.
Well, what do you think of the fact that it's a law firm that's pressuring the police into doing this? Usually, it's people go complain to the police and they take action. The fact that you have to get a legal firm involved, presumably apply some pressure to the police to act. Are the police under pressure from that?
The enquêteur the first enquêteur, made that explicitly clear. She said, I have this dossier from this law firm, and she framed it as a sort of important law firm, and because I was like, are you kidding me? This is a joke. She hasn't even blocked me on Twitter. I got a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old. I'm like, I don't know her. I've never met her. And the police enquêteur definitely acted and spoke, implied strongly that the fact that this was coming from this sort of quote-unquote credible legal firm, that was pressing her to take action and to, from her mind, just move the case along. I get the dossier in front of me, I look into it a little bit, I don't know if it's true or not, I mean, I'm just going to move it to the Crown. I don't know if that's the thinking that the police agent is doing when they make that totally odious decision. But yeah, definitely the fact that it was a legal firm. I think there's basically zero chance that if it was Dalia Kurtz that went herself and did this, that the police would take this serious enough to charge her.
You brought up harassment, and you suggested that you're being harassed. So would you consider this, what's happening now in terms of what the SPVM is doing, to be a police harassment? and would further beyond that, the Crown getting involved, the courts getting involved, would you consider it to be judicial harassment?
For sure. Yes. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I'm the police officer by the fact that I publicize their charging me for social media posts about Israel. The fact that they respond to that by bringing 4 more charges. I mean, what else is that but police harassment? It's total flagrant. I mean, police officers didn't even seem to, try to deny that. Really, I mean, everyone knows that. That's clear what they're doing. They were angry that there was pushback to their ridiculous charges against me for criticizing Israel, and they're going to double down on it. So it's clear police harassment. And every moment that the Crown doesn't throw the charges out is further, now it's judicial harassment, is further state harassment for sure.
Right.
So I don't think you can maybe try to march in there and
Not going to let anyone in.
We'll see what the police think about that.
Drop the charges!
Drop the charges!
Drop the charges! Free! Free! State harassment! Drop the charges! Drop the charges! Free Eve! This is a state intimidation! SPVM! Stop harassing citizens!
Respectez la loi! Respectez la Constitution canadienne!
La police devrait protéger, pas intimider! Drop the charges! Drop the charges! Free Eve! 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 We are just chanting peacefully! No need to show force! Drop the charges! Free Eve! 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 charges!
Pursue the Israeli criminals! Pursue the Israeli criminals!
Pursue the Israeli criminals! Pursue the Israeli
criminals! Pursue the Israeli criminals!
Pursue the Israeli criminals! Israeli criminals, not journalists! This is a state intimidation. We're just 20 peaceful protests supporting a journalist, and we have 6 threatening police. This is ridiculous. People, where are we spending our taxes? Free Yves! Free Yves! Arrest the terrorists!
Thanks everyone. Moi je vais rentrer maintenant et merci tout le monde. J'espère d'être libéré à la fin de journée aujourd'hui, mais peut-être ça va demain matin. Mais merci tout le monde pour avoir venu. Puis free Palestine! 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 From the river to the sea, Palestine is